People who have been watching anime for a long time often find themselves watching one genre when it comes down to things. For example, I have one friend that absolutely loves isekai anime, and I have another friend that absolutely loves watching the most horrible shows you could ever think of. But there are some people like me who like watching a lot of different genres. And maybe you're that person, or maybe you are somebody trying to try out different genres. Well, don't worry, because in this video, we are going to be going over the best anime for each genre. Now, I got these genres from a video on YouTube, so if anything is missing, I do apologize. But we're going to get straight into it and start with mech anime. Now, I do feel like this is cheating, but if you guys don't know, I really do hate mech anime. But I'm going to give it to Code Geass. Now, some of you are going to be like, oh, Code Geass is obviously a mech anime. It has mechs in it, but it really doesn't have much to do with the mechs at all. So I don't really count it as a mech anime, but I guess it technically is, so that's going to win for mech anime. If you want to make something count, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. Upload anime videos 3 times a week. If you want to see any more of me and any other content, in the description as well. We're going to move on to comedy, in which I have GTO, or The Great Teacher Onizuka. And to me, it was between this or Mashle. A lot of people throw in Saiki K. I do find Saiki K boring at times. It has funny moments for sure, but it can also be quite boring. But with the comedy, I do think you want more than just funny moments. So maybe something like Gintama as well, but that's also why I don't want Saiki K to win, because it really is just funny moments. There's no real story there. Both GTO and Mashle actually have somewhat of a story to them, so I like them a lot more. But I'm going to go with GTO because I find it absolutely hilarious. Mashle is pretty close in hilariousness, but GTO, you walk away with a lot more than just the comedy moments. And Mashle, you kind of really only walk away from the comedy. Next, we have dark fantasy, and this one was super hard because what even is dark fantasy? If you look up the definition of dark fantasy, there's like hundreds of thousands of anime that could fit for that, because it's not a real genre, but it is. For example, I looked at multiple lists to try to figure out what counted. Out of the ones that counted, I'm gonna give you the 2 honorable mentions. They had JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as a dark fantasy, which I would not count, because anything counts as fantasy, and then anything with death counts as dark. So I guess you could say JoJo's. They also had Full Metal, which Full Metal I kind of get, but I feel like it's not dark enough. So I went with something that's also not really that dark, because a lot of people were saying things like Berserk, which I haven't seen Berserk, but I'm going to go with Hunter x Hunter. I do think Hunter x Hunter is a dark fantasy. There's a lot of cruelty in Hunter x Hunter. Things aren't always fair. Like, Gon is not getting his Nen back, bro. I know y'all want him to. He's not. I'm sorry. Like, if you read any of the manga, which they haven't said he's not getting it back, but they don't even give a fuck about Gon anymore. They don't. It is a dark fantasy. Like, the good guy does not always win, and it is a fantasy. So I'm going to go with Hunter x Hunter, but if you have something else, I get that. Then for sports, this one's really easy for me. We have Hajime no Ippo. The only one that could ever contend, which I haven't seen it, so I'm not sure, is maybe Haikyuu. It's the only other one that's held in such a high regard to Ippo, but I've seen Ippo, and Ippo, I just really don't see any sports anime being better, especially because even if Haikyuu is written better, it's about volleyball, and I'm sorry to any volleyball fans out there, volleyball is super lame in my opinion, so boxing's always going to be way cooler, so of course it goes to Ippo. Then we have martial arts. I mean, obviously this is going to go to Ippo, but if you don't count Ippo as martial arts because it's only boxing, then I guess you could go with Baki, but Ippo is definitely the best martial arts anime. Next, we move on to drama, and I'm going to let you know this anime won a lot of awards because there are not a lot of anime that do stories like this, and it fits a lot of kind of niche categories. But for drama, we have Erased. It is such a beautiful drama, one of the best I've seen. I don't really watch a lot of drama. It's not really one of my categories. Like I said in the intro of the video, when you've been watching anime for a while, you kind of know what you like, and drama typically isn't something I like. Like, the premise has to be really cool. Like Erased, it was a really cool drama. Then we have Ecchi. I'm just going to throw Bikini Warriors and not talk about that. Space, we have Cowboy Bebop. I do think Cowboy Bebop is a top 5 anime of all time, and obviously it's about space, so it's going to make this list. Cowboy Bebop is a beautiful anime, very short. If you want to watch something a little more in-depth or a little deep, I'd watch Cowboy Bebop. Next, we have otaku culture, and I haven't seen really anything that would count to this, I guess. But I'm going to go Welcome to the NHK. It is the only one that I've seen somewhat of, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty goofy, and it is, the main character is a loser, I'm going to be honest. So it fits pretty well. That's a very good otaku culture show. Then we're going to move on to a children's show, like a show you grow up with. And I actually gave 2 the winning spot here. I know we're going best anime for each genre, but I gave 2 the winning spot. We have Beyblade and Pokemon. Beyblade is a little bit more for the mature audience. Like, nowadays, if you haven't seen either Beyblade or Pokemon and you are like an adult or older teen and you haven't seen either of them, I do personally think without the outside bias, you would enjoy Beyblade a lot more than Pokemon. However, as a kid, although you still do enjoy both, and it would be the same for adult, you would enjoy both, I do think as a kid you would enjoy Pokemon a lot more. And since the shows are directed towards kids, like if you're a kid, Pokemon, if you're an adult, Beyblade. So I gave it 2 because they're kind of different target audiences, I get. Well, not really. They're the same target audience, but they're different. Next, we have horror. I'm going to give this one to Berserk. Like I said, I haven't read or watched Berserk, but I haven't seen a single horror anime. I don't like horror stuff in general. It's not my thing outside of anime, so I definitely am not going to watch many anime about it. I will read Berserk one day, but not today. Then we have organized crime. I mean, I feel like this has to go to Bungo Stray Dogs. There's not many anime about organized crime that are very good. Bungo is obviously one of them. Then we'll move on to historical, which we have Samurai Champloo. There are quite a few historical anime, and I've figured out that I don't like historical stuff. Samurai Champloo is my favorite historical anime because it's not really that historical. It is, but it isn't. Like, a lot of the stuff they have in it is very accurate, but it's goofy. It has its own thing. There's a guy with a boombox in the 1300s. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's historical, but it has its own non-historical moments, which is what I like. For example, Vinland Saga is a historical anime, and I don't like it as much because it is fully historical and fully realistic. So that's why I have Samurai Champloo above. It's a little bit funnier for me and a lot more fun to watch. Then for detective, we have another repeat here. We have Bungo Stray Dogs. Again, there's not many detective anime. Bungo is the golden standard for a lot of detective anime, so pretty simple. For isekai, I gave it to 2 because I've only seen a few isekai and did not like most of them. But for the one I gave the win that I've seen, I gave it to Tsukimichi. And the other one I gave the win to is an anime I haven't seen, but if I had to bet, it looks like the best isekai, I'm going to give it to Konosuba. Those are the 2 best isekai in my opinion, the one that I've seen and the one that I haven't seen, but is probably the best. Then we have time travel, and time travel is weird because I wanted the anime to really represent this genre, because JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has time travel in it. But is it a time travel anime? No, it's not. So I went with Erased. Again, yeah, I told you this one's going to win quite a few awards because Erased is a very good show and not many things do it. Like, how many shows are about time travel? Not have time travel, because a lot of them do. Like, even Fire Force has time travel, but it's... And I was debating on putting Fire Force because it's kind of about time travel, but I didn't really count it. So Erased for time travel makes sense. Then for mystery, we have Erased. Pretty simple. I'm going to be done talking about that. We have another show that wins quite a few awards, and I had to be a little bit more strict on the rules because it would have won a lot more. For Shonen, we have Naruto. Naruto is my favorite anime ever, so anything it does fit in, I would give it the win. But obviously, I can't give it everything, so I try to hold back on it. For Ninja, they had Ninja on there. We're going to go Naruto. Vampire, I went with Vampire Hunter D. You could go Hellsing, I guess, but I haven't seen either of them. But Hellsing, I've heard, is very slow. So Vampire Hunter D, I've only heard good things about, and I've seen clips of it. Dude's got aura. Looks cool. Slice of Life, we have a previous winner as well. We have GTO here. I don't watch Slice of Life. I think they're incredibly boring. But GTO is technically a Slice of Life, and it is pretty interesting. So yeah. Parody, Mashle. I mean, it's a Harry Potter parody. It's really good. Action, Naruto. Like I said, I try not to give too many to Naruto, but it's my favorite anime ever, so it's going to win a lot. Meme, the best meme anime, JoJo's hands down easily, because JoJo's is the best of a lot of stuff. For school, another winner. Actually, I think this show is tied with Erased for how many things it won. We've got GTO. GTO is the best school anime, and for this, so you could have gone with a lot of stuff. I was thinking maybe The God of High School, or like there's some other ones that have to deal with schools, and I thought it has to be about school, because like you could go The God of High School, and it has high school in the name, so you would think, oh, that's about school. It's not at all. So there are ones where it is about school or they're in school and stuff like that. But I decided to go with one that is fully about school, which GTO is. It's about being a teacher, which has to do with schools. Then we have demons. A lot of people say Demon Slayer. I went with Black Clover. I think demons, devils, like monsters and all that is kind of the same. If you want something that's just called a demon, because really, what's the difference between a demon and a devil? Like, not much, you know? I'm going Black Clover because they have like the whole devil world and all that, and half the show is about them. So I would say demons goes to Black Clover. If you wouldn't count it, then I don't know what my second answer would be, because I feel like that's not really a category then if it specifically has to be about demons. I think that's kind of stupid. For video games, Sword Art Online. Survival, this one was tough because there's a lot of things that could classify as survival, but the way I looked at it was it needs to be about like a group of people, or specifically the main character more than anything, trying to survive from something. So for that, I went with Pluto. In Pluto, they are trying to eradicate the I forgot what they're called, but like they were the war heroes or whatever. And the main character, the secondary main character as well. So both the main characters are a part of that legendary group from the war. They are part of the war heroes. So they are being hunted down, and it is kind of about survival. It is a mystery anime as well, detective anime as well, but it is a survival more than anything because they are trying to survive. For Cyberpunk, just gonna go with Edge Runners. Mahou Shoujo, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's like little girl, serious anime. Madoka Magica, pretty easy. Now, Superpower. This is one that could be difficult, and I could have given something like Naruto, because if we're talking about superpowers, that's any anime where they have powers, technically. I went with superpower as in superhero, and I'm going to give that to To Be Hero X. If you want to give that to My Hero, I totally get it. But To Be Hero X, it does not have a single bad episode so far, and I think Season 2 will not disappoint, so I went with To Be Hero X for superpowers. Adventure, this one's tough. I would give it to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because it has adventure in it, but it's not the biggest representation of adventure, so if you'd want that, I'd also give it to One Piece. So JoJo's or One Piece, both very good. Then we have romance. I don't like romance at all. I've talked about it before. Not going to explain it again. My Little Monster just looks the coolest to me and would probably be the only one I'd watch, except it's not in English, so I'd never watch it because I don't want to watch a romance as is, and I definitely don't want to read one, so not doing that. For a food anime, I went with Delicious Dungeon. It seems to be funny, serious, have good moments and stuff like that, so I think it looks the best. Fantasy, I wanted to go with the traditional fantasy because technically every single anime is a fantasy unless if it's a slice of life, so literally all of them are fantasy. But I went with like a traditional fantasy, like castles, elves, stuff like that, you know, like something you would see in Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm going to go with Mashle for that. It's about magic. They live in an old town and it's ran by magic and stuff like that. It's got the old-timey people, the robes, the wands and stuff. That is very fantasy. I'm going to go with Mashle. Then we have educational. I don't really get this category, and they had seen a lot of Dr. Stone. I just didn't want to put that because I don't like the show. So the best educational anime, there's so many different things, so I have like a few options. I say Mob Psycho if you want to look at emotional intelligence, like how to teach you about your emotions. Mob Psycho is the best for that. If you want to just like learn anything, Ippo is very good at explaining like boxing techniques. So I also put as the third thing, anything that's kind of dedicated to one specific thing. Like I know it's a similar track, but Holy Land, the manga, is about fighting, not boxing necessarily, and they teach a lot about different fights. Dr. Stone does teach a lot of science and stuff like that. So I'm saying if it's anything dedicated to one thing, you probably will learn a lot. And lastly, on our list, we have psychological. Saw a lot of Monster, and I do think Monster is good, but I got to give it to Cowboy Bebop. I think Cowboy Bebop's a top 5 anime of all time. It's a psychological anime. It is awesome. I absolutely love Cowboy Bebop, and that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe. I upload anime videos 3 times a week, and I really hope to see you guys in the future. Peace.